Hey everybody, happy Thanksgiving as of the time of this recording. It's 3 a.m. and I cannot sleep, so I am here in the workshop. I'm going to show you what I've been working on. So, last time I showed you guys this thing, and I don't know if I showed this in the last video, but it has buttons on this now. And I have done this with the coin door. So I bashed something up in Inkscape after measuring the old coin door that doesn't fit there, just so I could get the mechanism pieces on there. These are just kind of a really standard Wells Gardner style coin door mechanism, and I've just put them onto a plexiglass plate. Shout out to my buddy Dan, who cut this plate on his CNC. Is just a little bit too big to cut on my laser cutter. I did cut a mock-up in cardboard, but I was just having a lot of problems with it, and he volunteered to cut it on his CNC. And we might later try to cut one out of aluminum, but honestly the plexi is kind of growing on me. I can put some lights behind that, it'll look really neat. And everything's working out just fine. Functional. Yeah, so now let's talk about the monitor. I have taken it back out again because it is time to figure out how to mount the chassis for the monitor. Okay, so here's the monitor, and last time I did some work to make these brackets off camera. Made some brackets to mount this onto the cabinet, and I've also made this little frame here. This is for mounting the chassis, so the circuit board that contains all the circuitry that'll drive this tube. So your high voltage supply, the flyback, deflection, all that good stuff sits on a circuit board, and it needs somewhere to sit. I made these little holders out of aluminum. This is a 1/2 inch wide, I think it's 0.6 inch thick. Let's see what it says here. Ooh, focus. 1/16 inch thickness. This was this was $3 at Home Depot. 36 inches. I got 2 of them and bent these just on the edge of my bench here. I just clamped them down and hit them with a hammer until they were at the right shape. And those just mount right through the ears on the tube, just right on top of there. So that should be plenty sturdy for holding the chassis. It's not really strong enough to hold the weight of the tube. I'll show that in a little bit. It's a bit too weeble wobbly to really hold the weight of the tube, but that's not the intent. These wooden parts here are quite sturdy, and that's what's going to take all the weight of the tube. Not that the tube is super heavy. I think the tube's only about 20 pounds. But this is, pretty thin. So next, I need to get the chassis mounted up. So what I've done is I've cut a piece of wood here. This is just really thin, like craft plywood. And it's going to go like these. And I'm going to drill some holes in the aluminum, bolt everything together, and then the chassis will attach to this. And by the power of video editing, focus, nuts and bolts have been attached. More jump cuts. Okay, so I got this thing stood up now, and we are going to see where the holes for this thing will go. Ye olde chassis. So here's our anode lead. For those who don't know, this is the neck board. This plugs in to that. And, of course, bloop, power plug. And since I have it out here, I'll just kind of walk you through here. So, video inputs for like a regular TV. These would have been the front panel buttons. There's a power button right bloop, there. This here I believe this TV could come with either a momentary power switch or an actual, like, double pull, double throw type of, like, toggle switch. I'm going to see if I can use that to make this turn on whenever it's plugged in. I don't know if that's possible. We're going to try. Okay, let's cram it in here and see where we fit. Yeah. Well, slight problem. Turn this into the light so we can see it. Okay, focus. Okay, we got a little bit of a problem here. See these plugs? They don't fit. Now what do I do? So if I pull it back so that the plugs fit, now we're hanging off the back. What do I do? Also, I don't really want anything grounding out on the on the tag. This is a problem. Now what? Okay. I took a little break from the camera so I could just focus on what I was doing here. And make the camera focus. Focus. And I figured out how I'm mounting my chassis. Okay, so the very first thing that I did, let's turn this into the light here so we can see. So the very first thing that I did was I removed these plugs. Just desoldered them, and I got some wires onto them right now. In the future, I'll be doing RGB mod on this. For now, just for testing purposes, I'm going to keep that that video input because that's nice. And moving around over here, you can see we've got these two little rails here gripping the side of the circuit board. There's one there, and there's one over here. And there's these two little fins down here. Come on, it's hard to see. Anyways, those were cut from the old discarded shell of the TV. I just broke them out of there. And those are now epoxied in. And that will kind of hold on to the circuit board. At least to keep it moving from side to side and to keep it from flexing up and down. And these two little guys here in the middle are for holding up all the weight of this flyback. Then what I'm going to do is I've got some holes here and there. And I'm going to have some bolts that are going to come through there on each one. And that is not to hold the PCB from sliding side to side, but to keep the PCB from falling out the bottom. Because right now, I can slide this in and out for service. And then those bolts, the only purpose for those bolts is to keep it from sliding backwards like this when it's face up inside of the cabinet. So I'm going to put those in there and plug everything in, and we'll see if all of my screwing around building this chassis holder has broken anything, because that is a distinct possibility. So let's put some screws in and hook it up to test and see if we let out the magic smoke. Okay, so I just want to demonstrate to you that now this is attached, and we're gonna turn it on using my highly scientific method called poke the switch with a stick. So we'll just kind of sneak in here. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so it's on. You can hear it's on. You can see this screen. So now, I guess the only other thing left to do is to drop it in the cab and try it out. Okay, so I dropped it in. It's not bolted in, it's just resting there for the moment. But it's kind of cool. I just threw the gamepad through the hole here because I don't have control panels yet. All right, so let's take a look at this. Okay. So as you can see, it's nice and clean in there. not too crazy. And at the moment, I'm just using this because getting at these buttons is a huge pain. But I can turn it on and off, you know. And now that it's facing this direction, I'm going to need to degauss it and make some adjustments. As you can see, we're shifted a little to the right now. It was perfectly set up when it was sitting, horizontally, but it's a little different now, and that's just par for the course with CRTs. You move it around and stuff changes. So, and the nice thing about this cabinet, and it is dark over here, so let's see if I can do this. There is a door in the side. Focus. Okay, yes. Got a door in the side. So let's just sit down here and we'll take a look. Oh, man, that is dark. I need to get better lights. Alright, well, just have to take my word for it. Raspberry Pi's in there. I've got my video plug soldered up. Sound is not connected right now, but she's hanging in there. Okay, got the top put back on, and there it is, running a little asteroids. A little off-center asteroids. And this is just a raster simulation. This is not real vector. I'm sure I've talked about it already. This is not going to be vector. I just don't have the budget for doing that. But we're getting closer to something that actually plays. Huzzah. Alright, that is it for this video. Yay, rainbow barf.